Steve, you've had a couple of days for the dust to settle. Is that has your anger diminished any?
Well, I mean, it arguably gets worse because then you see it and you get it highlighted and see all the video evidence. And it was just a bang awful decision in more ways than one, and it went against us. And as I said on the night, there's too many big occasions now that we're talking about it repeatedly, and something has to improve. You know, all the technology we've got, all the earpieces and all the rest of it, are being brought into the game to make the decisions easier. It seems now, unfortunately, it seems to get more complicated because there's probably too many people in their ear. Because certainly I asked the referee whether he gave the penalty the other night, and he said to me he did. And when you look at the video evidence of it, he did not. So what chance do we stand? All of them in the ground have missed a blatant handball. And big decisions like that, big games, hopefully it'll not cost us. But that's now 4 or 5 big decisions we've had against us, especially away from home, which is hard to take.
Is there any, I don't know, if little team syndrome is the right phrase?
Well, I don't know. I really find it quite boring, I have to tell you, to keep constantly criticising referees. But how many times now do you see, especially in the Barclays Premier League, where we're always talking about, we seem to be always talking about refereeing decisions. And I know it's a difficult job, don't get me wrong, but they have to improve. We have to improve it. And for me, a bit of common sense has got to come back into it. You know, I think they're putting under too much pressure, that if they miss something, they can't seem to referee like they used to with a bit of common sense. And that is the disappointing thing for me.
Or you take it away completely and put it all over to technology, and the word comes from the touchline.
Well, we're seeing the big controversial incident. Mistakes can happen, we understand that. But when you ask the referee itself on the day, and I asked him at half time, did he give the penalty? And he specifically said yes to me. Then I can't quite understand then the whole events after that. If he says to me in his earpiece that the linesman give it, fair enough. But I know for a fact that he waved play on, turned away from the game. The game played on for seconds until 2 players were injured. Then there must have been some sort of conversation between the two of them. And who's made the decision to send McGregor off? There's a whole catalogue of errors. The handball, was he denying a goal scoring opportunity? Obviously not, if we can get a player back on the line. So all of it is just it leaves a bad taste, and I really don't want I would rather come and talk about the performance of the 10 men, but in big occasions like that, you know, it's hard enough with 11, let alone go down to 10.
The stakes are so high now, aren't they? Every
absolutely.
place in the table, relegation, all the rest of it.
Absolutely, it's so high, and look, there's not much more I can say. I will call Mike Riley again today, but I've seemed to have called him more this year than I have done in my career, and that's being brutally honest. I've called him more this time over big decisions that's gone against us, away from home particularly. And it's cost us at Tottenham, it's cost us at Swansea, it's cost us at West Ham, and that for me is far too many.
Because the other knock on, the bad news from all of that is you've got the goalkeepers out for the season. Would that be right?
Well, it certainly looks that way. I mean, McGregor's got a really nasty injury. I went to see him yesterday in the high dependency unit in London, in hospital. The kid's in a lot of pain, and we obviously hope that he's going to come through it. Overnight, the observations are better, but he's away to have another CT scan this morning, and we hope that it will repair the kidney. He's got kidney damage, and we hope that he's going to be okay, but it certainly looks like he's going to miss the rest of the season, that's for sure.
In a sense, the moment they're playing isn't even the initial concern, is it?
No, when you see somebody like him who's as brave as they come, and who's took a horrible knock to his kidneys and badly damaged one of them. So we hope that, as I said, in the aftermath of it all pales into the significance a result when somebody like that is going through an awful injury like he's going through. So we hope that he can come through it and make sure that he gets better.
So Steve Harper comes.
Yeah, we've recalled Eldon Jakupovic from Orient, and he's disappointed with that because I can understand that he's going for promotions, but He's our goalkeeper, and that's what we've had him out on loan for, to gain valuable experience. In Steve Harper, we've got a really experienced number 2 who's, I think, has started something like 11 games this year. So we've got no problems there. We obviously don't need any more, and then you're all risking trouble.
And then at the end of it all, you've got another really difficult looking away game.
Well, they're all difficult. If we play like we did Saturday with 11, then we'll be fine. I'm convinced of that. It's difficult. Back-to-back away games in the Premier League are always difficult, especially when the lads have run a million miles, when they've been down to 10 men for an hour. However, the resilience of them and the attitude of them was there for everybody to see again the other night. They were really unfortunate to lose the game, even with 10. Horrible decisions going against them, a crazy own goal. You just have to say it's not your night and dust yourself down and get on with it again.
Two sides in a similar position, they're slightly better off, I guess, but both heading for that. Want to hit 38.
We're all, I was talking to Sam yesterday, we're all looking to get to 37, 38, whatever it'll be. So we're all trying to get there. We've all got 7-8 games left. There's big games everywhere you look. West Ham plays Sunderland on Monday. I think Crystal Palace have got Chelsea. Everybody's got big games, big huge games. But if you can win or pick up 4 or 5 points in the position what we find ourselves in now, then I think we'll be fine, and we'll finish off the season where we ought to. We haven't been lower than 13th since September, so we've got to make sure that that still remains the case.
And every point is crucial on that basis.
Absolutely, and that's why the decisions that go against us, that's why it's so critical. That's why it's so important that the big decisions, big games, they get it right. And unfortunately, more often not now, they're getting it wrong. And we've got all sorts of technology to make it better. And it's about time we're called on it, especially when something is dubious. I mean, it took 3 minutes the other night to take the penalty. Surely, to goodness, he could go and get the right decision from that, and that's the disappointing thing for me. I mean, there's a blatant handball, and that's why, at the end of the day, McGregor's made the challenge he has. McGregor's had to change in midstream because with the direction of the ball, and that's how he's ended up in the position he's ended up in. So I'm disappointed to keep talking about referees, but there we go.
Well, Steve, as you look forward to Stoke City, do you see a team that's in a similar situation?
Well, they are, aren't they? I mean, and we could say that about 10, 11 teams, couldn't we? You go up to, you say Newcastle and Southampton are out of it, and everybody else is up for grabs. We're all jostling away and trying to make sure that we all get over the line. And Stoke had a wonderful result last week. They've gone and won 4-1. I think that's the best result they've had in the Premier League. So they'll be buoyed by that. Obviously, we've got the disadvantage of playing on Wednesday night with 10 men. So we'll see how we are this morning, and hopefully we've still got enough in the tank to make sure we go and get a result.
You've been impressed with Stoke this season because they could finish top 10.
Well, I've always been impressed with Stoke. When you look at a club who get up and stay up for 5-6 years, all of a sudden they've established themselves as a Premier League club, which, when you see where they were and what they have done, Tony Pulis did a wonderful job. Mark's changed it slightly, but on the whole, they're a decent-sized Premier League club now and got some good players. Everywhere you look, they've got good players. So, and they've been in the league for 5-6 years now. So, well done to them.
What are the changes that Mark Hughes has made, and how are you going to adapt your team?
Well, there's a lot of talk about tactics, isn't there, and all the rest of it. I mean, there's still a little bit direct, and why shouldn't there be? If you've got Peter Crouch in the team, you can't play it up to him. Their first goal last week is Crouch up to him and a flick on, and Odemwingie scores. They're a big side, big physical side. That's not going to change. But I think there's been a little subtle difference. Obviously, and Mark wants to put his own stamp on it, which is normal. But still, I keep saying this, that individually they've got good players. Everywhere you look, they've spent a bit of money over the years and made themselves established as a Premier League club.
And what about your side? Because as you say, you played on Wednesday, you know about McGregor, but what about other players that might...
Well, we've got a few bumps and bruises, and we'll see how they all are this morning. came in yesterday. There's no real big doubts. There's no big doubts apart from McGregor. Everybody else has got a few bumps and bruises, and I would anticipate that everybody else will be okay.
How long do you expect Alan to be in hospital for? Have you been given a prognosis on that?
He's probably going to be in, if everything goes well, he's going to be in the high dependency unit for the next 3 or 4 days. After that, he's probably then another 3-4 days in a normal ward. So we expect him to be in hospital for the best part of a week, 8 days.
Liam Senior didn't play midweek. How disappointed was he? Is he the sort of lad who will knock on your door and scream at you, or what?
Well, they all knock. He's been carrying a small injury. He's got a little bit of a thigh, and he's one of them where you're always absolutely in the back of your mind thinking, we hope it's not too serious. So the other night we just decided to give him a rest. He's played a lot of football lately, and this thing's been nagging away in his thigh. So we just erred on caution. He's had a wonderful season, Liam, and I have to say, he's a manager's delight. Nobody's ever pleased to be not playing, but I think he understood that it is a squad game now. We had got 3 games in a week. He had got a slight little niggle, and we didn't really want to make a risk to him. So he'll be in fine fettle, I would have thought, for the weekend, hopefully, as long as that thigh's okay.